Hey guys and gals, Xavier here for Hum of the Earth, signing in from an undisclosed location in southern Kenya. Not really hard to guess where I am this time, but that is besides the point, because today we are talking about beer in Tanzania, where I've just spent nearly a month bicycling through the country, going to many different places and drinking a lot of beer. In the name of research, of course. But before I begin talking about my quote-unquote research, time for a few stats. So Tanzanians love beer. In fact, they are the sixth nation in Africa who drink the most of it. But most Tanzanians don't actually drink the beer that I was drinking, which is a beer that is bottled and sold at bars. The principal alcoholic beverage that Tanzanians drink is a maize or corn based beer, usually homemade or made by someone in their village. And this is because Tanzania is a poor country and they can't really afford to be drinking bottled beer on the regular. But that being said, bottled beer still a huge part of the economy. In fact, the Tanzanian beer companies are within the biggest earning companies in the whole country and are listed on the stock exchange. But more importantly, the Tanzanian beer instills a sense of pride in the people of the country and is an integral part of society. And I have to say that they are not wrong for being prideful about their beer, because the beer I've had in Tanzania, I mean, just the offering of beer in general is the best that I've had in Africa so far. So I've been to South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, bit of Mozambique and Malawi, and Tanzania easily takes the cake. So let's get into their lineup. So first we have what might be their most popular beer, Kilimanjaro. And this is the only Kilimanjaro I'll be taking on. It's a somewhat light beer at 4.5%, but it still has a nice present taste. It is somewhat unique, not bland, but yeah, good taste overall.
Poultry, you have some goats, and then I also do some cows for milk production.
This one, Safari Lager, is 5.5%. Tastes pretty good. Maybe a little bit yeasty for my taste, but regardless, I'm glad I picked it up, given that it will be the only safari that I'm be taking in Tanzania. So at first I wasn't the hugest fan of Safari, but I ended up researching it quite a bit more as I went through the country, as this seemed to be along with Kilimanjaro, the most widely available beer. And given that it's 5.5% and Kilimanjaro is 4.5, I would typically choose Safari, and it definitely grew on me, and I began liking it more and more, and now I think it's quite a good beer that you're not going to get beered out by, which means you're not going to get tired of it drinking it on a regular basis. So this one, Ndovu, is pretty decent. Kind of your typical premium beer in developing country. Really smooth, a little bit sweet, no complaints. This one is pretty good. And then we have this guy, Bia Bingwa, which is actually the cheapest beer here in Tanzania, the equivalent of 70 cents US for a 500 milliliter bottle. Tastes fine, nothing special, kind of a bit of a cheap beer taste, but here's the best part, 7%. So you can get feeling good for 70 cents. I was really surprised to see that this was a lager, Serengeti here, which I've seen many a local drink. But a very, very unique flavor. Definitely the most unique I've had of the Tanzanian brews, which have all been good. I'm gonna keep enjoying this one and reflect on where it stands. So I'm not actually a big light beer drinker, so I haven't tried Serengeti Light, but they're proclaiming that it is the only light with a bite. The other light option is Castle Light, which is a common beer found throughout southern Africa. A premium quality refreshment indeed, a little bit more expensive relative to the other Tanzanian beers. It's the same price, but this is a 375 milliliter bottle instead of the 500 milliliter bottles. And finally, another beer that is somewhat widely available is Tusker or something like that, which is actually a Kenyan beer. So I didn't try it in Tanzania, but I did see that it was available here and there, mostly in the northern part of Tanzania, which makes sense because that's close to Kenya at that point. But I have had the opportunity to try it here in Kenya, and I think it's pretty good. It's kind of almost like a German style beer, a little bit weedy. Only 4.2%, but it still has a lot of taste. So I think it's a pretty good beer. So that does it for the widely available beers in Tanzania. Again, the quality of which was really quite a nice surprise. Again, the best I've had in Africa. But I haven't even gone to one of the best aspects of beer in Tanzania, and that's the price. So most of the time, the beers come in 500 milliliter bottles. That's half a liter, which is about like a beer and a half. So the going rate usually for, and this rate is very standard and doesn't really fluctuate that much across the country, is of 2,000 shillings per bottle. So given that a dollar was like, I can't remember if it was 2,300 or 2,500 shillings per US dollar, I believe the math came out to a half a liter bottle being 90 cents. So that's like a beer and a half for 90 cents, and really good quality beer as well. So that's pretty amazing. The only kind of less than awesome thing is that there isn't actually, that I could see, I mean, I don't even remember one, to be honest. There might have been one, but yeah, very rare that you'll actually see a liquor store or a bottle store. So you can only buy beer in bars. And most Tanzanians, again, it's integral part of the culture. So they drink in bars, they don't drink at home. And it's a social thing. And when you go to bars, people would often ask me to sit and drink with them. Rafiki. And sometimes I did, but most of the time I didn't, because I don't speak Swahili. And yeah, so what you have to do if you do want to drink in your hotel room or whatever, you have to give a deposit for the bottle, which will often be usually, you know, not really too expensive in the grand scheme of things, but so you pay a deposit for the bottle, go drink your beer, and then you bring it back in the morning, and hopefully it's the same person working, and they will accept the bottles back in exchange for whatever you paid for them, which is really not that uncommon for a lot of countries that I've gone to. And there are also a 375 milliliter versions of these beers, and those are usually 1,500 shillings, which is about like 70 cents or something. So also a great deal. So that's gonna do it for beer in Tanzania. Hope you enjoyed this video, or at least were informed in a matter that is useful to you. And yeah, I mean, it sound like a broken record, but yeah, amazing beer in Tanzania. One of my personal highlights of visiting this awesome country. Some other highlights were the fact that everything else was pretty much cheap, with the exception of like tourist activities like national parks and safaris, or yeah, anything that's a tourist activity is expensive, but everything else is usually pretty cheap, like accommodation, food, etc. Anything that a normal Tanzanian would do. The people were very kind and nice and fun and easygoing, and it's a beautiful country. And if you'd like to see video evidence of that, I have plenty of it on my channel. You can go to my Hum of the Earth just channel page, just click on the channel, then click on playlists, go to Tanzania, and there will be my Tanzania videos. And I was here as part of a bigger journey, bicycling from Cape Town, South Africa, all the way to Cairo, Egypt. And before that, I bicycled from Canada, where I'm from, all the way to southern Patagonia in Argentina. And all those videos are available on this very same YouTube channel, Hum of the Earth. And if you'd like to see an interactive map of everywhere that I got to go and everything that I got to see, I have that available over on my website, followthehumoftheearth.com, where you can click on the various locations and see the various blog posts and videos I've made of these places. If you want to follow my continuing adventures bicycling through Africa, you can do so by clicking on the red subscribe button below the video and clicking on the bell to be notified when new videos come out. All right, that's gonna do it.